Cell phone photography part 2. Photography is about shaping light or capturing light. I'm recording this with my old Samsung phone, so it's nothing that's up to date. Take a look at this image. In the upper left-hand corner is our only source of light. So that's bright white hot. If I tap on the center of the image, right in this mannequin's face, that's where the focus is. So that's where the camera is going to adjust the exposure. If I tap on the upper left-hand corner where the light is, I'm telling the camera that that's the priority and I want a good exposure for that light. So it adjusts for the light and forgets about everything else. I need to go back to the middle so you can see our main subject. There we go. So I tapped in the middle so we can see our mannequin again. If I tap a little lower on her jacket, it's going to get a little bit brighter, but it's at its maximum. What I want to do in this video is show you how you can shape light with a single light source that everyone has in their home, the table lamp. Watch what happens when I bring the lamp closer to the subject. Since this is right at the shoulders of our subject, the left side of her face gets much brighter, and so does part of the jacket, because there's light spilling out of the bottom of the lampshade. If I want to see more of her face, I need to bring the light more towards the front. Now there's a limit of the table, so I can't bring it around in front, but I can bring it forward. Now we see much more of the mannequin's face. I can get close to classic Renaissance lighting if I back it up so I get a little more shadow on this side, so the cheekbone is just sort of this rounded triangle. Now that light's dramatic without being like crazy moody. I'm going to tap on the screen of my phone in a couple places to see what the exposure looks like. So I'm going to first tap right on her face, see what that does. Then I'll tap on this gray background. Doesn't do much. Now on the light. Makes things moody, but see, she's still there. So back on the face of our model mannequin. There. Now the shadows are still pretty dark. It's actually a really nice photo, so I'm going to take a photo. We have, this would be the introduction to light modifiers in the photography world. The table lamp, in this case, being our main source of light. In photography jargon, we would call it our key light. Photography being still photography or cinematography. That's our key light because it's our main light. Modifiers are anything that modifies that key light, whether it's, or any other light for that matter. Whether I'm modifying the key light or I'm making other adjustments to fill in or modify the light beyond this basic just setup that we have. So one of the photographer's best friends, and in early cinematography, they used to use just the sun, so they had to have giant reflectors to reflect the sun to light the scene. Hopefully you can still hear me. I'm moving away from the camera a little bit. We have these foldable reflectors, which are cheap. They're like 20, 25 bucks to get. And watch the shadows on the right side of the mannequin's face as I use the white side. So that's bouncing light from the table lamp into the face of the model. If I turn it to the gold side, it's going to bounce even more light. I can do the same thing with a piece of white paper, or let's see what I have here. This is a piece of white plastic. And I just need something to prop it up with. I happen to have a piece of white plastic. If you have some kind of board or foam core that's white or anything, a big piece of paper, it will do the same job. I'm going to take that away now. And I'm going to reset the light to where it was. Push back and out. So we're back to this moody, moody light. Now the reality is, most rooms have more than one light. So if I turn up the rest of the lights in the room, we'll get a minimum amount of ambient light, just available light that's sort of everywhere. So give me a moment to do that. And now take a look at the quality of light. We still have highlights on the left side from our key light. That's still the most powerful light, so it's our key light. Everything else is modifying our light. It's acting as fill. If I bring it closer, just like I did in the beginning of the video, it creates more highlights on the left side. But it's pretty harsh, and let me bring it back to that final position we did where the lamp was forward. So the result is a much, much softer light. That's because we have a lot of available light that's creating this higher ambient light in the room, and the only thing making a huge difference still is that key light, but it's not making that, it's not the only thing lighting the subject. And the shadows on the right are pretty soft because we don't have only one source of light. We have a lower source of light on the right. There's less light over here than there is over here. If I brought that reflector in, it might make everything too bright. I could, if I wanted some more drama, but not as much as we had before, I could turn out some lights on the right. So we get a little more shadow on the right. Let me turn out some more. So I still have some lights on the right turned on, but not many. So it's a softer picture, but not as soft as we just had. But it's not as dramatic as we had earlier. This is something that you can easily experiment with your own cell phone and one house lamp taking a bunch of selfies. You can do it with friends, but you don't need anybody. You can just take pictures of yourself playing with lights in different positions. You can learn a lot that way.